The Great War, through a London child's eye.
November 1st, 1921. The third anniversary of Armistice approaches, reminding us all of what's gone. Sid and I went up to London on some errands and found ourselves on a trip down memory lane.
Do you remember pretending to be a jockey when you were too young to join up, to explain your lack of height?
Why on earth didn't they fall for that? We were so young. It all seemed exciting back then.
I remember Father so eager to do his part. Even the adults saw things differently.
Look, they've changed the name of the street. I swear this used to be Bolton Road. Look, the sign's new. Hague Road. Not sure I'd want reminding of him every time I went to catch a tram.
Later, we saw them fixing a memorial to the front of a post office. The inscription read, "To the glory of God and the memory of the men of this office who gave their lives in the Great War, lest we forget." The brass shone brightly, illuminating many dozens of names.
That's handsome enough, isn't it? Although, not as handsome as the one in our church, if you ask me.
Our church now has a stone memorial cross in a quiet part of the churchyard. There were too many names to fit on its plinth, so some of the soldiers lost from around here, including Sydney's brother and father, are remembered inside on painted wooden boards.
Imagine how much that cost. I think our priest is right. Better save our money to spend on them that's still living. 1 million people don't have a job right now. And them that fought still struggling to right themselves. I'll take a lick of paint over brass any day.
When we got back to Sid's, Mrs. Parry was fit to burst with gossip from the town hall. A debate about a memorial for the fallen councillors somehow managed to end in a fight.
It's caused a terrible stir. I've never seen such tempers flare.
What's to care about? It's just a memorial plaque. A bit of metal and stone.
It's important to remember the sacrifice made by those who fought and those who lost their lives. Surely any memorial is a decent thing.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But Marjorie Fanshawe had got herself puffed up with indignation. All because it would be in the Great Hall, and they hold dances there. She said it would be unseemly to place a memorial in... what did she call it? A pit of depravity.
Such a spoil sport.
She's not the only one. Oh, and then no one could agree on the shape. A square lacks gravitas. A cross offensive to the Jewish members of the council. And then someone said there should be a poem or a stanza or some such on the plaque, and a wag in the audience suggested Wilfred Owen.
What's wrong with that? Some folk get comfort from a poem.
Wilfred Owen's poems are rather gruesome. He talks about how the soldiers were sold a lie and that war is awful.
Well, it is. And they were. That'll get my vote.
Well, that idea was thrown out. Anything with a flourish or a poem was seen as unseemly.
Was that Mrs. Fanshawe?
How did you guess? Anything short of a Bible quote will have her clutching her pearls. I dare say the argument is going on as we speak. Come on, let's have another cup of tea. Ooh.
I'll make it, Mum, with plenty of sugar for your nerves.
It's strange to think that in 100 years from now, folk will still be able to read war poetry or the inscriptions on plaques in town halls and schools. They'll be able to admire tributes to lost workers in factories, railway stations, post offices and offices, and perhaps they'll still place a wreath at the memorial at their church or in the centre of their town on Armistice Day. Unlike Sid and I, they won't remember a time when these memorials weren't there. One day, perhaps no one will remember us at all.
The Great War, through a London child's eye. Supported by the National Lottery through the Heritage Lottery Fund. Read Edward's diary at funkidslive.com/Great War.